Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Purchasing Oversight Committee meeting of August 23rd, 2023. The time is now 2:01 p.m. and this meeting is officially open. We have, to ensure that we have a quorum, I will call the roll. Do we have Commissioner and Vice Chair of the committee, Kelly Robinson?
Madam Vice Chair, present.
Wonderful. Do we have County Administrator or Assistant County Administrator Tiffany Stewart-Stanley?
I'm present, thank you.
Okay, we have myself, Commissioner Carthen, present, and we are missing Director Amons. She is on the road traveling, but we do have, just want to welcome him to our Purchasing Oversight Committee, Chairman of Board of Commissioners, Chairman Miller.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And we also have Jill Hobson on the line along with Director Ron Roberts. So welcome. And also Nora Beaucamp, the new employee for the purchasing team. So welcome everybody, and to Ms. Dee Taylor, who will be filling in for Director Amons to help us through our agenda. We have the approval of the June 16th, 2023 meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look over those meeting minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any addition, updates, or deletions to those meeting minutes?
None for me, ma'am.
Being none, then by common consent, can we approve the agenda items?
Concur.
Concur. Wonderful. So the meeting minutes have been approved for June 16th, 2023. We will now go into our old business updates. That is the lunch and learn that Director Amons did. And Ms. Taylor, do you have any information on the success of that or given an update?
There had not been one since the last POC meeting. She
Okay.
has sent out the invite for the next one that is on Tuesday, September 19th from 11:30 to 1 o'clock down at the Transportation Center training room. And it will be on request for, it's on solicitations, requests for proposals, requests for qualifications, and invitation to bid.
Thank you. So this one is really important. I know a lot of people are working, and so they're not hearing this, but I would hope that that Director Amons and your team would be reaching out to the assistants and all of the county departments and even some of the county elected officials to come to this lunch and learn, because this one is really important, especially as we start to prepare to take on some of the SPOS projects in the upcoming year that may hit some of these departments. So just want everybody to be on one accord with what the purchasing team is required when they send out these RFPs and RFQs and what is needed, and to ensure that the county is meeting the quality standards so that we don't have any hiccups along the way. So this one is a real important lunch and learn. I would encourage every department to send somebody to this one. Anything else regarding that, Ms. Beaucamp?
Not that I'm aware of. No, that's all the information that she sent me. And she did send the invite out to, it looks like, all department heads, and ask them to forward it to anyone in their department who has solicitation, invitation to bid, request for proposal responsibilities.
Okay, thank you so much. Our next agenda item is oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Robinson, do you have any questions or comments regarding the item?
May I?
Sure, you have the floor.
Thank you, madam. No, real quick, I understand that you may have not created the run-up show yet for the agenda for this lunch and learn. Beyond creation of the actual RFP, the actual technical content that goes into it, the written part, will you all also get into rules of engagement as far as what the overall process is? So separate document from process. Who talks to who, how things work, how things actually flow. Will you get into that side of it as well, do you know?
He said in her invite, we will discuss the entire life cycle. Every solicitation is different, but basic steps are the same.
Gotcha. All right, overall flow. Got it. It's just not the written part, but it's also how do you communicate to vendors, when to talk to vendors, who communicates what to whom, is it your department versus someone else? All that will be clarified in that meeting, right? Or in that lunch and learn. Is that true?
She's running it, I would assume so.
All right, that's fair enough. I just want to make that for the record. You're good. That's good enough. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Commissioner Robinson, just would like to acknowledge that Director Amons has joined the meeting. Welcome, Director Amons.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I apologize for my tardy. I think my team said I'm attending a conference. So I ran to my hotel.
Okay. They held it down for you.
Thank you so much. And so, yes, if I understood the question correctly, I am going to substantially outline the process, the who, what, when, where, and why. I also introduce a standardization of, let's say, like a ITB solicitation, right? Where I could just give the shell and everyone can drop in the different scope to have a complete standardization across the county. And for the public, if you notice my bids up until this particular point, you see there's been some changes, but a lot of the language has been the same, right, throughout. Yes, we will talk about engagement, who can talk to whom, when, where, but not only who, but why. I think that's important as well. Also to understand that really an average RFP process is 180 days. And so why sometimes that is the average. There are different types of solicitations, so they all don't take 180 days. But I think I need to educate everyone as to why a solicitation may close today at 2 o'clock and you won't have your answer tomorrow by 8 a.m., right? And there are things that take time, there are requirements that vendors have to submit. And so I'm looking at this too as just an education process for everyone so we can be on one accord, but also to help my department in standardizing the day bids will go out and the day that we would open them, right? Because right now we're all over the place to no fault of anyone's. It's just how can we best improve together as a county? And so that would be the purpose of the Lunch and Learn.
I got it. May I, Madam Vice Chair, since she's here?
You have the floor, yes.
Yes, thank you. So, Director Amons, to that point, so we've got Chairman Miller on here. So there's RFPs that are part of the direct command of general government, and then there are electeds who tend to sometimes, especially constitutional officers, have a different perspective on how they flow. How do you think we're going to be able to accomplish to make sure that we're all on the same page? How do we recognize that those are they have different authorities? How will we approach that? Because there should be uniformity. Yes. But how are you going to approach that?
So the approach will be, I'll start with law, right? A lot of people don't understand that, number one, depending on the funding source, there are different requirements on how to approach a solicitation. And everything goes back to law and then general practices. So that's why I'm here at a conference. It's been all week, held by NIGP, which is the formative organization on public procurement in the United States and in Canada. So a lot of times we do have policies and procedures locally, but we also have federal laws and guidelines where, you know, there is a delicate balance. And that is why we ask and invite everyone to come back to procurement, because we should know, you know, kind of what to do and not expect everyone else, you know, to know the ins and outs. For example, I do recognize that the elected officials can spend their funds, you know, according to their needs. But we also have general practices of 3 competitive quotes, right? That is the county policies and procedures. But the why of that is to ensure that we're getting the best cost. And so if we, I've said this before, I never say yes because I like to, it's because of a policy, procedure, or law. And if I say no, it's because of a policy, procedure, or law. And so hopefully when we have the training, that it would kind of clarify, you know, a lot of nuances between general and elected officials and appointed officials, and just to understand why we do what we do.
Good enough. You got this. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you. Our next item is new business discussion. That would be the RFP updates to kind of give us a scope of where we are and what's to come before us.
Yes, and Denise, can you talk about the list that you developed as far as the RFPs that are open and the upcoming? So I'll try to interject quickly. Hold on, I have my note. So solicitation 23-026 is the new Manchester High School sidewalks. That solicitation opened on last week. It's closing in about 30 days. All of the solicitations will close in about 30 days. Solicitation 23-027 is the burn building demolition and construction of the concrete foundation. That one was posted on Monday.
And that one is for fire and EMS. These are SPLOS projects.
Yes, fire EMS. Solicitation 23-028, fire station number 9. That one was publicly posted on Monday as well. And that's fire EMS.
Question, Director Amos, did you have a pre-bid meeting for that one particular one?
Yes, the pre-bid meeting for fire station number 9, if you would just allow me a moment, will be, I think it's Thursday, September, burn building site visit is Tuesday, September 5th at 2 p.m. The fire station pre-bid meeting is if there is one, here it is. It is on August the 30th at 11 a.m.
So next week. Okay.
Yes, and that information is posted publicly on the bid.
Okay.
And the 4th solicitation that is currently open is the senior center renovations. This is our 3rd posting of this particular solicitation. And that one was also posted on Monday.
And this is the one that the grant we were given from ARC?
No, this is, yes, it is. And I apologize. Yeah.
Okay, I was looking at Mr. Stanley to kind of get, so this is the one where they gave us the money for it to renovate the one that has our congregate kitchen and where we do all our Meals on Wheels and that type of thing. Okay, so it's to renovate that building.
Yes, and the first 2 solicitations were not successful. So we're hoping that this 3rd solicitation is successful. And yes, part of the RFP training is I'm going to introduce a form that everyone will have to submit to me that talks about the peculiars of what they need, meaning solicitation title, proposed date of completion, funding source, if the funding source has been approved, because we don't want to put out solicitations and there's no money, and then an estimate budget. So I'm going to introduce that at the RFP training as well. So again, standardization just to stand us up and improve on our current processes that have been working, but just tighten them up a little bit.
Okay.
So those 4 are open this week, and I do want to publicly say thank you to the BOC for allowing us to move to an online bidding platform. Because of that, I was able to submit and manage my time and my department's time. I was able to kind of put them in the system and then schedule them to post, even though I wasn't physically in the office. And so they automatically went out on Monday. So again, I want to thank publicly the BOC for moving to this particular platform where at any time we can continue to do the business and just set up the dates of release.
All right, Aaron. Any questions in regards to the RFP updates or where we stand with them?
Good. Thank you.
Being none, we'll move on to our next agenda item, which is miscellaneous. And I'll take a point of privilege to start this. I just had my technology committee meeting, and one of the things that I asked Director Betancourt was regarding the copiers for the county, updating those, and because Lord knows there are some departments, I won't name them, right, that are kind of outside, that their copier was just, I was shocked at how antiquated the copier was, right? They're trying to make sure that their citizens that they were servicing had what they needed. But wow, it was a shock. And so he did inform me that you guys were updating that. So can you kind of tell me where we are and will that come before the BOC?
So I will honestly say that it hasn't come yet because it's me, and nothing that's outdated. It's just the workload, and so right now it's just the financing, right? How we're going to finance the change at one time for the department is not necessarily. Do we have it? Just how does it look where it's easier and seamless for us? And so I will move that. And so let me be a little more specific. So some departments had money for, a new machine. Some did not necessarily have money for a new machine. And so what I would like to propose is there are a lot of copiers, a lot of different budget, a lot of items. Then we're charged for the paper. And so for the staff, it really becomes cumbersome in kind of going through and, this department, that department, who puts PO, is it this particular department, where my wish list or my happy path would be one department, IT, BOC, puts in the order for everyone, and then just manages it as a smooth process on the back end from the operations. And that's the piece that we just haven't finalized here and before bringing it to the board. A lot of times we have great ideas and we just don't know how to put them in place where it's easier for staff and for, the vendor. And so just with the amount of work, I just put that to the side. And yet, please forgive me, it doesn't mean that it's any less important than anything else. It's just kind of compartmentalizing where we are. And now that I've gotten through those 4 RFPs, and I have 2 more that are upcoming, then we'll move back to the canon. So not only can the staff have updated newer machines to make our work lives more efficient, but the machines in the library will be there as well. So the public in those public spaces will also have to. Yes. So I haven't forgotten about you. It's just moving things down the path.
Well, I brought it up to Director Bentoncourt, not knowing that you had spoken to him already, and he said, sure enough, you guys had spoken, and so I was glad to know that someone listens to me. So
right.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure then you'll have to work with the county administrator to figure out the funds for that. And Tiffany's shaking her head. So yes, I guess you all will get together and figure that piece and portion out. He did tell me that it may be zero. It will be net neutral in terms of cost. So hopefully
yes.
That is the case, and we don't have to pony up anymore. But it grieves me sometimes when I walk into spaces,
yes.
Unbeknownst to me, we have something, but it's just so outdated.
I am looking for savings, not even just a net zero, just long-term savings, right? Standardizing and moving away from a lot of what we don't know we're wasting.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I'm looking at savings.
Thank you so much. And are there any other miscellaneous items to come before us? Yes, Commissioner Robinson, you have the floor.
Yeah, can I join that previous conversation?
Absolutely.
All right, so, again, this goes back to the Board of Commissioners retreat when we talked about our fleet. There are different stages of utility, usefulness. And to that point, and it is about effectiveness. We are a government, a local municipality, and we have tons of paper that we use. Like a deputy needs his weapon. People who are in the paper business need copiers, right? It's like, and I'm listening like, but don't we have technology money? And like, it shouldn't be a matter of financing this. It's no different. Look at our HVACs across the board. Look at our printers across the board, or copiers, whatever one you want to call them. Look at our fleet across the board. Again, it's stepping back, and I agree with her assessment. I step back, guys. Don't let this be 64 functions of silos. That's too much. A single person do it across the board. And it's about maintaining our assets. So I'm back to, we had this conversation when you first came on board, and it's like, okay, we need to do an inventory of all of our assets and where do they stand their age and get on a maintenance program. But while we're figuring this out, people are still, staff is really doing a great job of getting the work done, but it's tough when your tools don't work, when your hammer is not working, right? Your hammer is all bent and stuff. You can't pull the nail out anymore. But they're making it happen. And so I'm advocating for them, like, okay, guys, don't make that difficult. That's a quick win. And I know everybody is busy, and I know the workload, so I acknowledge it. But that one right there, I got to put a park like, you can't even get a printer. Like, we're working with old stuff. We're still using inkjet and stuff like that. Okay, there is a leasing program. There is something that should be easily be able to done across the board. Make them come in and assess us. Get Xerox and somebody come in here, assess this thing and figure it out. So, right, I don't need you to figure it out because you're too busy running the other 55 RPs and everything else. I get it. You can't physically, you can't mentally get your mind around that. I know what you're saying, but come on, guys. Bring one of these providers in here, let them look at this thing and give us a way and how we do this and how do we manage it going further. I just want to make that statement that, because some things, Madam ACA, we can take this offline, not to belabor, but there's got to be a better way. Like I said, we'll get to it. What I just heard was we'll get around to it. But we have money. This is the problem I have sometimes. We have taxed the people. We're sitting on cash. Now they're listening to this narrative. Now, outside versus inside, like, okay, we're sitting on this money, guys. We're sitting on a lot of cash, and they can't get a copy. It's because we can't take the time out for somebody to go in the corner and get this done. So I just want to make that statement, like, God, the public is listening to us. And we're sitting on this cash. What do you mean? What funding? The county is not broke. We're in the middle of a millage rate conversation. So I get raising it, not raising it, but you got cash that you are flush with. Finance should not be an issue. That's just me as chair of finance. I'm like, that should not be a problem. I'm with y'all. Y'all will handle this. I just had to say for the record that, give them the tools they need to do their job, guys. But y'all will figure it out. And I yield the floor. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Not a problem, but just to update you, Canon has come in and they have looked at all of the computers. So to your point, that actually has taken place. Alex talked about that. So it's just a matter of the internals that Director Amons and Director Bettencourt will get together with ACA and get it taken care of. But yeah, great point. Is there anything else to come before the meeting? Are there any updates, Ms. Ammons, that we need to be aware of?
Yes, I just want to let you know that in the upcoming week, there will be a bid posting for the Spine Road construction. I think it's a new location. That's number one. And then number two would be the drivers for the transportation for the buses. So those two will be going out within the next week. I think they've been approved by the departments, so we're just dotting the last I's and crossing the final T's. So those two are upcoming.
Got you. So you work with Director Roberts in regards to the drivers. I think this is Director Roberts. I did mention that you were on the call. Welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I have a quick question for you. The drivers, this would be their third year or fourth year in this capacity. So are we looking to send it out as an RFP because of the 3-year rule, or is this just something that has to be done from your department?
It's just the 5th year of the transitions contract. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Got you.
Yes. So that we definitely want to get it out and see what gives somebody else an opportunity.
And the feedback that you got from the riders in regards to the drivers or the company that has been servicing the county, did you utilize that in drawing up the RFP?
Yes, ma'am. We utilized several different RFPs that were sent to. I actually reached out to ATL staff. I reached out to RS&H, who was engaged with our transit master plan. I got several samples from different agencies to be able to put put together the RFP. So it was a long process, but we had a lot of examples, because why reinvent the wheel?
Amen. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. But thank you. Thank you for giving me that vote of confidence, because I know we had some people talk about some of those issues that they were having. I know Transitions said that they would address. So just wanted to ensure that the people's voice was heard while you and your department was putting together that RFP. Anything else to come before us, Director Amos? Or
Madam Vice Chair?
oh, Commissioner Robinson. Yes, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. I want to, Director Robertson, we talked about this in our Transportation Committee, and they did a very good job of sort of explaining their approach to this. But I wanted to bring up a point. Yes, it's 5 years. But here's my question, and Director Amos or Director Roberts, you can answer. When this was put out originally, it was only maybe 2 firms that actually bid on this. One out of Florida, and the guys who currently got it. And I was just in Austin, Texas, and of course I attended the transportation. I got to see the transit topic, and there are associations out here for buses across the nation. And my question is, who are we sending this RFP to? As far as the service provider, are we just doing a normal bid net or the state? But sometimes sometimes there you have firms that are trying to expand into a territory who are advanced, and I'm just saying, where are we putting this out at? Because when I hear that only 2 people bid on this, I'm like, well, surely there's more competition out there than that. It's not like this is like a new system, like we're doing, cars that rise up and fly on their own. This is a traditional type of public service. Can y'all talk to that? Who are y'all putting this out to? This particular RFP. How are y'all getting it out there to let people know?
Yeah, so we start with BidNet and the Georgia Procurement Registry. Typically, when you put a bid out, you select NIGP codes, which is on the state level. Every business comes under a particular category. And those vendors that have registered under those codes will be notified that there is a public bid. We also, if there's a transportation organization that allows, the communication when they will compose to their members that there is a bid out there in another state, we can send them the information as well. I would just need to know who that organization is. And lastly, if there is a company that we are aware of, we can always send a letter to that company and invite them to solicit a bid as well. So it doesn't matter if they register with BidNet or register with the Georgia Procurement Registry, we can still send them a letter to let them know that the solicitation is out.
That's perfect.
Madam ACA, can you just make a note? I know you sit on the board of NACO and stuff, and Madam Vice Chair, even at ACCG. Can we find those organizations, those clearinghouses, and do they have a site where we actually can post bids? I mean, you guys hear the conversation. The point is, cast our nets on the other side of the boat. Can we go fishing somewhere else? Can y'all find a list for the names of these associations so they can be a little bit more broader in how they solicit?
Absolutely. Yes.
If I may.
Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate, Commissioner. We have been actively looking for and identifying, not just, we're already aware of publications that we want to get this out. As soon as it's out and there's a link to it, we'll be posting those. But the individuals that have been involved with the Transit Master Plan, such as Mr. Bingaman, who presented that day to the Board of Commissioners, works for TransPro, and they do work all over the world. He just got back from New Zealand, but he's been in properties in all 50 states, I believe. And so we've got a pretty robust network. Not just that, but the national APTA, the Public Transit Association, has a list. There's an expo that's coming up in October. We're going to get the names from those individuals as well. So I'll absolutely be working with LaTanya, because I want the biggest possible net I can get out over the boat. And if I can grab a DV in the process, all the better. But if not, we definitely want some more some more bids and some more considerations for our transit option here.
So we've gotten better than the first time we did this, but you got this now. You're at the helm, and you answer my question. Y'all two, definitely talk, and you got it. You answered the question, Madam Vice Chair. They got it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Director Roberts and Director Amons, and thank you everyone for joining. If there is no further business to come before the Purchasing Oversight Committee, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.